opener coming up this weekend as the Boilermakers get into Alexander Field to welcome UAlbany for a 4-game series. Purdue coming off a difficult 4-game stretch with a 2-2 record, keeping that momentum going as we get back here to West Lafayette. Kyle Charters along with Ben Turner and head baseball coach Greg Goff for this weekend Purdue baseball, presented by the Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Coach, it was a 4-game stretch against really good competition. I said before the weekend, ideally you want to go 4-0 or 3-1, but if you could get through it going 2-2, I think you would take that. And against 4 good teams, certainly 2-2 record doesn't do anything to hurt you, and you maintain a little bit of momentum here coming home.
No doubt, Kyle. We after the weekend, I thought we played really well. Got home and even practiced on Monday, even though we got back about 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m., just to give us an opportunity to go up to Notre Dame and play well. And just yesterday that 3-2 game in the 5th, and we couldn't handle it with our bullpen, and just those things haven't happened all year for us, and so just one of those things that you got to be really good on the road.
Yeah, was it difficult, little 48-hour stretch there? I was really tired after the Notre Dame game, and I don't have to do anything but sit on a bus and talk a little bit. I can't imagine, having to go out there and play a little. But it is, it's the nature of the game a little bit too. Sometimes you deal with that travel schedule. It will be nice now to be able to come back home for the next several weeks.
Right.
Be able to play a lot here in the state of Indiana, here in Alexander. And so get settled in a little bit, but you do that having gotten off to a good start as well.
We know we have. We've played really well, and again, just continuing to play really good competition. The teams that we've played here in the last 4 games, we're all RPI ranked teams, and we're going to give us an opportunity to learn about who we are and find out who can do what, and so that to me is the epitome of what we're trying to do right now. I just feel really good about those opportunities, and it's going to definitely prepare us as we get down in the conference play.
We talked to Luke Wagner a little bit later on in the program here, but he and Jackson Danley were great on Saturday in the victory against Southeastern Louisiana, combined for the 2-hitter. Luke in particular seems to have gotten more and more comfortable in the 3 games that he has started. What has he brought to this team?
Well, it just brings some experience, number one. Have an opportunity to be at the University of Georgia for 3 years and coming here, and I thought he was really good Saturday. He shut down a really good Southeast Louisiana team. You shut those guys out, especially in a ballpark that plays really small. You're doing something, and so I thought he was as good as he's been on Saturday, and hopefully we can continue to develop him and get him to a situation where he can throw like that. And so, and really pleased him. But he just brings in, just great leadership, to be honest with you, Kyle. He's a guy that's just a great guy, great competitor, but it's an even better teammate. And what you see that in practice is him spending time with our young players, our young pitchers, and then those are the things that he's leaving as a legacy as he leaves here.
First inning Sunday, 9 a.m. game to begin with, but it may have been one of the most dominant innings that Kyle and I have ever seen. You think about it, the first 11 batters reached base safely. You scored 10 runs in the top of the inning, all before 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And then Kyle Lewinsky sits on the bench for 25 minutes watching all that happen, goes out there and strikes out 3 in a row in the bottom of the inning. You can't script that stuff. It's amazing. For you as a coach, you had to be like, am I dreaming? It was amazing, truly. And against a good team in Fullerton, too, with a proud history and program. Just kind of caught him at the right moment, and when things go well like that, just ride the wave, I suppose.
No doubt. It was awesome, Ben, to see our guys just get up that morning, 5:30 wake-up call, 6-something breakfast, and, we're over there at the field by 7-something. Just awesome, to have our guys do that and prepare like they did, and to play a team that has won 4 national championships in college baseball is pretty impressive. So I was very pleased with our guys, the way they came out, and then Kyle just set the tone for us and punched us out out there in that inning. But the dugout participation was great. The whole dynamic of it was really a great day for us, and those are the things that we feel are coming in the future of our program.
Yeah, the last 2 days of the weekend in Greenville felt like the best of both worlds. You get the 2-hit shutout win, and you got 2 in the first 10 games, and then twice now in back-to-back weekends, you got the 10-run innings. So when the pitching and the hitting is going like that, especially on the weekends,
Yeah.
I mean, that makes, the world a beautiful place from the coach's perspective.
Yeah, it does. It does. It makes my job a lot easier for sure. And I don't have to coach these. These guys get ready to play every day. You see them. I mean, you're on the bus with them. They're so passionate about what they do, and they know how important each game is. And so, that part of it's been a blessing.
When the pitchers throw shutouts, they earn a BP session, which I think everybody sort of has fun with and is a nice thing to do. When you're facing the pitchers, do you go easy on them, or are you out there throwing them some sliders, some cutters?
No, I go easy on them. I try to hit their barrels as much as we can. But last week when we had pitchers BP, it was probably the best I've ever had a pitching staff hit. I mean, I think we hit 8 or 9 home runs. So there are some athletes on the pitching staff that can swing a little bit. So I was very surprised at the amount of home runs that they hit last week. So hey, that's a great thing for me. I'll throw BP all the time. You guys keep throwing shutouts. That's a great thing.
Yeah, not a bad thing at all. And part of the reason why Purdue's been able to throw a couple of shutouts is that defense. You guys have played really solid defensively. I think just 1 error in the last 5 games.
Yeah.
Well, that was just 1 error over the weekend. On a turf at East Carolina that is fast.
Yes.
You hit ground balls and they're moving a little bit through that infield. So, I mean, that's been pretty impressive, I think, the way your defense has played early on this season.
It has. And it's been a bright spot for us because going in, the amount of guys that we lost from last year's team, especially up the middle, we didn't know, to be honest with you. So those guys have been awesome. Gasser's really solidified shortstop, and Tommy and Ty have been rotating in at second base, and then Joe has been really good over there at third. Him and Sutter. So we have played, and then Luke Gaffney, a guy that we had no idea would play first base for us in the fall. Brett Noah was our best, probably player in the fall, and with his hamate, being broken, for Luke Gaffney to go in and do what he has done, not only on the offensive side, but the defensive side has been just amazing.
And you're going to get Brett back here soon, maybe as soon as next week. It's going to create a logjam for you a little bit at the corner infield and corner outfield positions, because you have arguably 1 or 2 extra players who seem like they all deserve some playing time.
Yeah.
And it's going to be difficult to sort of figure out and mix and match, and maybe on a game-by-game basis with who you feel is hot, who you feel matches up the best with the opposing starting pitcher, all of that. Right. But a good situation, too, because you've got guys who are going to have that competition on the team to get out there on the field, and that generally creates a good situation. It
does. It's great competition. Is always good, and we feel like our depth is where is in a good spot, probably the best since I've been here, and so it definitely gives us some different opportunities. We've had some guys come off the bench and do really well. So we're still trying to figure that part out, but I would love to have him back and have him in the fold. I mean, he was our best offensive player in the fall, and to solidify him in the middle of the order with Luke and Cascanet and Spence and Sutter is a pretty good combination.
The weather has generally cooperated going back to February 1st, and it's going to be fine to play at home this weekend. 13 game homestand in March. You're rolling dice a little bit. But so far so good, and the attendance record last year that you set, the energy around the ballpark really feels like it all feeds in now to an opportunity to play at home after a good start.
It does, man. I mean, it is a little risky, as you know, but I think it's important for us to play at home as much as we can, especially in front of the fans that we have. The attendance record that we set last year, just so fun to play at Alexander, and we may have to use some coats, may have some raincoats this weekend, but. I think there's nothing like playing at home. I mean, we played 12 games, maybe 13 games at this point, and all on the road. Anytime you can start playing at home, it's a big thing, and hopefully we'll be able to get these games in this weekend.
UAlbany this weekend. Give us a little preview of the Danes.
Yeah, I hadn't played them in a long time. I played them when I was at Campbell, and John has been over there. I was talking with him this morning. I think he's been the head coach there for 20-something years. I told him what an incredible thing that is, just the accomplishment of being somewhere for that long. But they're going to bring in a good offense and some arms that are going to shut you down. So we're going to have to play really well and show up and defend our home this weekend.
Best of luck. We'll try to keep the rain away. Should be a great weekend.
It should be great. Looking forward to it.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. Left-handed pitcher Luke Wagner will join us on This Week in Purdue Baseball. Prepare to hit the links at Ackerman Allen Course, Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex, opening March 16th. Secure your spot now at PurdueGolf.com. Happy to bring in Luke Wagner, left-handed pitcher, starting pitcher for the Boilermakers, who has performed very well for Purdue in his first 3 starts. Luke, first of all, excited to have you. I mean, you have pitched well, especially this last weekend in picking up the victory against Southeastern Louisiana. What do you think has gone well for you?
First, I'd like to shout out my defense behind me. Camden Gasser has been a vacuum at shortstop. It's been fun to throw balls in the zone when he can swallow everything up over there. And then, I just working with Coach Newman over the past couple of weeks has been really fun, and we figured out that going to my glove side with my fastball has been able to open up my other pitches. So against Southeast Louisiana, that was very good for me, I guess.
I mean, it seems like you've been getting more and more just comfortable, maybe comfortable in the environment, comfortable with the new team. Obviously, you transferred up from Georgia. Just does that comfort level really helped you these last couple of starts?
Yes, sir. That plays a big role in it. Just looking back, I think my first start against Stony Brook, I was still trying to find myself, I guess. And shout out my teammates again. They've just been very opening with me and saying, like, let's do this, like, you're the guy for the job. And that's opened me up as well, because sometimes it's hard to believe in yourself too. And when other teams or other people are saying that stuff, it helps a lot as well.
A 2-hitter combining with Jackson Danley in that shutout win. At one point you retired 17 of 18. So by my count, that means you're pitching from the windup almost exclusively during that stretch. Did that help to get in a real groove?
100%. When you're pitching in the windup, good things are happening because no one's on base. So, I'd rather pitch from the windup, but as Coach Newman and I, or in the team, talks about, or the biggest pitchers are in the stretch. And I think back to that first inning with runners on first and second, and first innings are always hard. The first 3 outs and the last 3 outs are the hardest outs to get. And so getting out of that first inning allowed me to pitch in the windup the rest of the game.
The tournament format at ECU was unique in that you played a different team every day. You know, you don't see that often. Big games late in the year you do, but not so much this time of the year. You really hadn't had a look at Southeastern Louisiana like you might when as the game 2 starter, whenever, on a normal weekend. Did that matter at all? Was it like fresh and new, like this is just a team I got to go out there and do my thing?
Yeah, I think so. It is nice to watch the team play the day before. When Jordan goes, I can watch and do the chart with Newman to see how we're going to attack batters. But maybe it was nice seeing a face I didn't recognize up there and just compete and know that whatever I do can beat them.
You transferred up from Georgia, where you had pitched in some big moments for the Bulldogs. What brought you up to West Lafayette?
Oh man, a lot of things, but it was just time for a change, in my opinion. There was a coaching change in Athens, and I was ready to go see new things, meet new teammates. And Coach Newman and I have, he recruited me out of high school, so when I entered the portal, there was a connection there. So.
Seems like all the guys have talked about the connection they either had with him previously or have made with him this season. Just what is it about sort of how he interacts with you guys, how he coaches you guys that have made that transition so smooth?
Oh, I mean, he's amazing. He's definitely a player's coach. I feel like he does a great job of getting to know the player before pushing the player, and I respect that a lot, because if you know him and know what makes him tick, it's a lot easier to coach him.
Yeah.
We've certainly been impressed with him over the first 6 months that we've seen him in action, fall ball early this season. So he's been a big addition, and it's cool to hear some of those things you said from a personal point of view. I don't know that everyone knows this that watches the show, but a shutout earns what's called pitcher's BP. And that obviously gets the guys pretty fired up. That's kind of a special thing for you because early in your Georgia years, you were a two-way guy. So I imagine there's a comfort level when you step in the box still. Is that a proud moment for you and all the pitchers in general? And this is the second one already, shutout-wise, to have earned that for the squad?
Oh, it's a big deal. I mean, we really want pitchers BP, and sometimes coach forgets about it during practice. And Aaron Suval, he's a huge pitchers BP guy, so he comes running in after practice yelling pitchers BP, and it's a big deal for sure. And another thing I don't know if you guys know is if we hit a home run, we get another round. So we're trying to swing for the fences every time too. So
yeah, I heard that maybe there was a bevy of home runs in this last pitcher's BP that happened that you guys put on a show. Do you feel like Goff, doesn't go easy on you after something like that?
It's a good question. I'm not really sure, but I think, well, Aaron and I were talking in the outfield, and the wind was blowing out that day, so we're like, we need to hit pitcher's BP today. So, yeah, we did put on a show. I think we hit north of 10 home runs.
All right, so real quick, if the pitchers can have their moments in BP, who would you name a couple guys that might have a chance to get some outs on the mound among the hitters? Anybody.
Wait, can you say that again?
Okay, so we're talking about pitchers hitting, right?
Yes,
and
pitchers
obviously
hitting.
you have a history of that.
Yes.
Is there anybody among the current hitters
that
you
think-
would put on the mound
Okay.
that might have at least a chance?
I heard Ty Gill can throw it a little bit, so
Okay.
I guess we'll put Ty Gill out there. I'd assume Spence can throw hard. Who else? Yeah, those are my two.
All
I'm
right,
gonna
it
go
was
with
a
those
surprise
two.
question. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure what you'd say.
Yeah.
There you go. You and Jordan Morales, obviously a couple of lefties at the top of the rotation there, which is cool, and also both from from Pennsylvania. You from the Harrisburg area, he from Philadelphia. Did you guys know each other at all? What's that relationship been like with him, especially because you are both lefties? He's
Yeah.
been starting on Friday. You've sort of been able to see him work and then follow that up.
Jordan and I were, you could say like friends through friends. Like we knew of each other, but we never played with each other growing up. But I recognized the name, and I think he recognized my name, and
Right.
we had teammates that said you'll love Jordan and stuff like that. And Jordan and I have clicked since day one. I mean, he's my best friend here. Me and him are pretty close, and yeah, it's been fun to work with him. So one of the new weapons I've added here was my changeup. I didn't have a great one at Georgia, and day one he was like, "Hey, you should try this grip," and I was like, "All right," and that clicked for me.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so Jordan's helped me a lot too, and yeah, me and him are pretty close for sure.
You come from a rich baseball family. Your dad and uncle were twins, both played at Wake Forest, both drafted in the MLB. Your cousin was also a teammate, right, at Georgia. Just what was baseball like in your family growing up?
I mean, baseball was everything growing up for me. Cole and I, my cousin, we did baseball since like 5 years old. Dad's never really pushed us to do baseball. We just love baseball, and they were like, "All right, if we're doing this, we're going to do it."
Yeah.
So that's how it was. And Cole and I went to the same high school. We won a state championship. It's pretty cool. And through the recruiting process, we wanted to follow in our dad's footsteps, going to the same school as well. So yeah, I mean, all three of them have played a huge role in my life, and I thank them for that.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's a pretty unique connection that you mentioned, that you wanted to follow in their footsteps like that, and it's cool that it happened that way. They were a battery, a pitcher and a catcher, is that correct, or did I misunderstand that?
No, correct. Me, Cole, and Brett, my uncle, are all left-handed pitchers, and then my dad's the right-handed catcher. So yeah, it kind of works out.
Sure, hard to be a catcher if you throw left-handed.
There you go.
We close out the player segment with what we call personal preferences. Just looking to learn a little bit more about you, Luke. There are no wrong answers, as I like to say, but we do have you pick a number between 1 and 26.
4.
4. Everybody loves to pick their number. Favorite professional stadium, any pro sport?
I'm gonna go Fenway Park.
Okay.
I had the privilege to play there in high school, so kind of holds a close spot in my heart, which is pretty neat.
How did a team from Harrisburg end up playing at Fenway?
So they did like the top or the best players in the Mid-Atlantic, and you went Red Sox, Yankees. So I was on the Yankees playing at Fenway, so it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty neat moment. All right, next one, between 1 and 26, don't pick 4.
15.
15. All right, pick one. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
We're gonna go dinner. We're gonna go dinner.
Any particular reason why?
I'm a big dinner guy. It's just my favorite meal for sure.
Okay, so the trip home last night from South Bend, you had options.
Yes.
What did you choose?
I went steak, mashed potatoes, and beans. It was pretty tough to cut the steak on the bus, but it worked out. It was
Yes,
good.
Kyle was also ruining that choice
Yeah.
for that reason. All right, last one, between 1 and 26, don't pick 4, don't pick 15.
21.
21. Foreign country you'd most like to visit?
Put them on the spot here.
Yeah, I
It's a
know.
tough one.
Somewhere over in Europe. I'm sure they got good golf courses over there.
Okay.
So I'll do that.
It's a
Golf
good
is
choice.
great everywhere.
Yeah.
There you go. This weekend, UAlbany comes in. You guys have won majority of the games at each of your first 3 weekends. How do you try to keep that going against the Danes?
Yeah, just keep playing our baseball. I know last night against Notre Dame wasn't what we expected, but still have all the confidence in this team. If we play our baseball, we'll win a lot of games for sure.
Luke, appreciate the time. Best of
sir.
luck in your start this weekend.
Awesome.
All right, that'll do it for our show for this week. Of course, back next week as we continue the homestand at Alexander Field. For Luke Wagner, Greg Goff, Ben Turner, I'm Kyle Charters. Thanks for watching This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented by the Burke Boilermaker